Should you train conjugate? Is an excellent question, one worth considering. So what I'm going to do in this video is break down for you what is the conjugate system, why does it exist, what is it for, who is it for, and is it right for you? Now, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel because I've got a ton of conjugate programs and information coming. And if you have questions, drop them below in the comments. And in future videos, if it's a good question, I'll answer it. So what is conjugate? That's where we need to start. The most important thing to understand with conjugate is how to separate it from another type of programming. So conjugate exists in opposition to linear or Western periodization. So very, very simply, linear or Western periodization is training for goals in phases. I'm gonna do a hypertrophy phase or a muscle growing phase. I'm gonna do a strength phase, a power phase, a fitness phase, a fat loss phase, whatever. There are these phases in your training, and when you're focused on one of those results, the other ones that you've accomplished start to fade away a little bit. If I'm studying in school and I'm doing biology, Spanish, chemistry, and physics, but then I decide I'm just gonna do 6 months just focused on physics, my ability in the other 3 subjects is gonna start to diminish a little bit. And that's fine. There's lots of people that find success doing that, especially in very simple goals, like powerlifting, for example. Now, conjugate, on the other hand, is how do you design a program that moves you towards all of your goals at the same time? Now, this is tricky, and there's a lot of ways we're going to talk about in future videos in terms of how to apply this correctly. The expression, someone who chases 2 rabbits catches none, is a very good thing to keep in mind. So when you do conjugate incorrectly, instead of making progress towards all of them, you make progress towards none. And that is awful. But when you do it right, you're able to make progress towards all of these areas. And that's the core of conjugate. So conjugate comes typically from Westside Barbell and their focus on multiply or equipped powerlifting. But this entire system, when I was first mentored by Louis, of course, there's the powerlifting contingent that made Westside famous. But there were sprinters there were football players there were fighters there were athletes from a myriad of sports, all using the conjugate system. Personally, I've used it to coach some of the top boxers on the planet, world champions, #1 ranked fighters. I've used it to coach the 4th strongest woman in the world or the 3rd strongest man in the world. I've used it with my personal goals when I competed as a professional strongman. I use it in every program I create because when you do it right, when you find the key elements of the conjugate program, you can move forward with strength, with fitness, with explosiveness, with hypertrophy, all at once. And you can raise that floor with all of your goals. So it's not great, I was this strong, but now I'm a little less strong because I've been focusing on building power. You can build both. And both, plus anything else you're trying to work on, makes you better as a whole over time. And it's the fastest way I've ever found to achieve a big goal. Because a big goal has a bunch of different pieces. If you want to be a professional strongman, do you have to be fit relative to strongman? Yes. Do you have to be strong? Yes. Do you have to be explosive? Yes. Do you have to build more muscular body weight? Yes. And it's great if you can pursue all of those at once. The fighters I've worked with, if I tell them, sure, you're going to be stronger, they're like, great, but that can't compromise my fitness. It can't compromise my explosiveness. It can't get in the way of my technical work. Conjugate is the magic system. It's not magic. Conjugate is the best system for approaching all of those. And that's all conjugate means, that you're chasing multiple goals at the same time. So if you do it right, you make progress towards multiple goals all at once. And it's the most efficient way to move forward to your ultimate end goal. If that sounds like something you'd like, you should check out some more of the videos, and I'll break down how to do conjugate for the 2 areas I specialize in, for fighters or combat athletes in general, and for strength athletes, like strong man, strong woman. Now, you can take the information I'm going to give you and apply it to any goal you want. You don't have to fight to want to be conditioned and explosive and strong and lean and muscular. Or if this doesn't sound good to you, you can go do something else. And you can go through the same things I went to that led me to Westside, to being mentored by Louis when I got frustrated with the linear model of progression and other aspects falling away over time. But that's it. That's what conjugate is. That's why you should be following a conjugate methodology. And I will talk to you more about it in future videos.